The desert sun crawled across the sky like a slow-moving serpent of fire, its heat simmering on the cracked earth of the Arizona frontier as young Caleb Hargrove guided his mule, Ashen. Caleb was a wiry ranch hand with more grit than he had coins in his pocket, a man whose life had been shaped by rough cattle drives, long nights keeping watch beneath starlit skies, and the quiet conviction that a man's worth was measured, not by his possessions, but by the choices he made when no one was watching. He had ridden into the canyon that day to deliver salt blocks to the trading post on the far side, but the moment he entered the narrow throat of rock, he sensed movement, shadows slipping across the vertical cliffs like ghosts. He tugged gently on Ashen's reins, whispering to the mule to stay calm, though his own heart had quickened into a tense gallop. A soft rustling echoed behind a sun-bleached boulder, followed by a whisper, a breath, the faintest scrape of leather against stone. Caleb shifted his weight, ready for trouble, when suddenly two figures stepped into the open, young Apache women, no older than 17, both weary, dust-stained, and trembling with exhaustion. Their clothes were torn from running, and their dark eyes flicked nervously toward the canyon's exit as though expecting danger to leap from the shadows at any moment. Caleb recognized fear when he saw it. One girl, the taller of the two, clutched her sister's arm protectively, scanning Caleb as if deciding whether he was a threat or a blessing. Caleb lifted his hands slowly, palms open. Still, they seemed to sense his peaceful intent. The older sister stepped forward and spoke in broken words, pointing behind them, voice trembling, "Soldiers, coming, we run." And suddenly it all made sense. The army patrols had been sweeping the region for weeks, tense after a string of raids. But not every Apache was a raider, and he knew the military didn't always care to sort out the innocent from the guilty. Caleb swallowed hard. The canyon narrowed ahead. If the sisters reached the far side, they could follow the river and vanish into tribal lands before sunset. But on foot, exhausted as they were, it would be impossible. The thunder of horses in the far distance confirmed what Caleb already suspected. Soldiers were coming fast, and these girls would be caught within minutes. Losing her would cripple his work for months, but the choice weighed on his chest like an iron brand. His mama had always said, "A good man doesn't wait for the world to tell him when to be one." Caleb stepped off the mule. "Take her," he said, guiding Ashen's reins into the older sister's hesitant hands. "Ride, don't look back." For a heartbeat the sisters stared, stunned, as though unsure whether such unexpected kindness could be trusted. Then the younger one gave a choked whisper of gratitude, and the older nodded sharply, her eyes gleaming with fierce resolve. Caleb helped them mount, slapped Ashen's flank, and watched as the mule darted forward with surprising speed, carrying the sisters toward safety. He didn't expect what happened next. As the mule's hooves faded into the echoing distance, the far end of the canyon darkened not with soldiers, but with a single imposing rider draped in traditional Apache war garments, his long black hair whipping behind him, his spear gleaming with polished stone. The man's presence radiated power and fury. He rode with the authority of a chieftain, a father, a protector. Caleb's breath caught. This had to be the girl's father. He arrived just before sunset, storming into the canyon like a spirit from the old legends, eyes blazing with fear and wrath as he sought his daughters. When he spotted Caleb standing alone, horseless, now his hand tightened around his spear. Caleb raised his hands slowly, understanding the dangerous misunderstanding forming before him. "Gave them my mule so they could get out before the soldiers came." The Apache warrior stared long and hard, reading the truth in Caleb's stance, his voice, his eyes. A long tense silence stretched between them, until at last the warrior nodded once, a gesture of profound respect. He pressed his fist to his heart, then reached into the beaded pouch at his side and tossed Caleb a small carved token made of polished bone. "Father thanks you," the warrior said in accented English. "Daughter's safe, because you brave." With a final nod, he turned his horse and rode after his children. Caleb watched him disappear into the burning red horizon, and only then did he feel the tremble in his own fingers, his knees weakening after the adrenaline faded. He had lost his best mule, sacrificed months of hard labor in the blink of an eye, but he felt no regret. Sometimes doing right cost a man dearly, But sometimes, he realized, it paid back in ways deeper than coin. As he made the long walk home beneath the rising stars, dust swirling around his boots, Caleb thought about how unexpected moments could shape a man's life, moments of courage, kindness, and choices that define one's legacy. And for the viewers hearing this tale now, let Caleb's moment remind you that brave stories like this deserve to be shared. If you want more gripping frontier tales filled with honor, sacrifice, and heart-pounding adventure, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because many more powerful stories are on the way, and you won't want to miss a single one.